The Ruto must go slogan has gained such a serious momentum to a point whereby it has now attracted the attention of the Chief of Defense of the Kenyan Army and the NIS, to a point whereby they had to come out and speak about this, especially the Chief of Defense. The Ruto must go slogan is now becoming a threat to the system, especially to the government, and that's the president. Why do we feel like this thing is now gaining traction and is now becoming a thing that either that they need to deal with before it can turn to be something else? So in this video, we are going to look at all these things around this Ruto must go slogan. Is it okay? Ama there's something wrong with using this slogan? And why is the Chief of Defense coming out to call Kenyans out and ask them to stop using that Ruto must go slogan? Why? So before I go into the details, if you are new to this platform and you're coming here for the first time, I'd like you to take a second to hit the notification bell and to subscribe, so that anytime I post a video, you will always be the first to watch and to be notified. So take a second, subscribe, na kama kawaida, I'll be back. First and foremost, let me appreciate everyone who has subscribed for the first time. And for the return subscribers, I would like to say thank you so much. You are part of this, of the growing of this channel. You keep on watching my video. You keep on anytime you get a notification, you watch and you share. I really appreciate you. Let's continue building this platform and building this community. We are now on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Thank you. Now, let me go back to the video. Let me go back to the content of this video. So, yesterday, there was a lecture that was organized by the NIS. And apparently, the chief guest was none other than the General Kahariri, who is now the Chief of Defense after the passing of Ogola. He was the one who took up the mantra. And something strange happened, because for the first time we are seeing NIS coming out in public to speak and even to show themselves that we exist, we are here. National Intelligence Service has never been a body that is known for doing public lectures or even coming out to pronounce themselves. This is a body that works secretly, because their work is to collect intelligence. And that's why we have members of the NIS are never known. Though they exist, wanakuaga na sisi everywhere. In the market, in the matatus, in everywhere, in your estate. Yani, there's high chances out of every 2 or 3 people in your estate you talk to daily, even out of 10 people, unaweza patana 2 are NIS. So these are people who are hawatokangi wajulikane, they are never known. But for the first time we are seeing these people coming out since independent. We have had President Jomo Kenyatta, we have had Moi, we have had Kibaki, and now we have had Uhuru, and now Ruto. But these people have always been, wamekuwa wakifanya kazi yao chini ya maji. But why are they coming out? This is what we need to look at. In my own opinion, I feel like they are coming out boldly and to pronounce themselves is because there is a wave. There is something that like kuna kitu, there's something within Kenyans that is now triggering these people to come out. And I think it is this slogan of Ruto must go. Remember, after the Gen Z demonstration, there's a way the system and the government was shaken, because there has never been such magnitude of demonstration in Kenya before. And they thought that even after all these things, vitu zimetulia na nini, they thought that this thing will die, this slogan and this movement will die. But apparently it seems that the movement has continued to persist. The slogan has continued to persist until it has reached a point that that slogan is now turning out to be a national anthem. You can hear them in clubs. You can hear people anytime there's a break, anywhere there is a crowd of people, there has to be that chant. People are chanting that slogan in the clubs, anywhere. And I think where now they took it serious is what happened at Nyayo Stadium. When wakati watu walienda kuona ball ya Kenya versus Gabon, the way people were chanting while the president was in that stadium, I think that is what now triggered this thing. And now they have to come and find a way of making sure hii kitu inakufa, because if it continues inawezafika mahali it will be very hard to contain it. Anyway guys, before I talk too much, because this is something that is very sensitive, I want you to watch this video of General Kahariri speaking about all this, and I also want you to watch a few videos of Kenyans reacting to that statement by General Kahariri. So just watch this, and then kama kawaida I'll be back with more analysis.
And by the way, the military, one of the core values is that we are apolitical. We don't support any political side. We defend the constitution and the government of the day, duly elected by the people. So wakati watu wanaamua kwamba tumechoka na hii serikali na mlichagua wenyewe, alafu mnasema must go, that must go must be done according to the constitution. Si ni kweli? Yeah, so
anyone who rises to the position of a CDF is assumed to be a soldier and a gentleman. And what I have watched the statement made by General Kahariri, for example, and I must say that first and foremost, it flies in the face of Article 121. And I want to read Article 121 of the KDF Act. Article 121 of the KDF Act says this, that any person subject to this act who commits any act, conduct, or neglect to the prejudice of good order and service discipline commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction by a court-martial to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or any lesser punishment provided by this act. There's a reason why KDF is supposed to be apolitical. He cannot in one, and this we must condemn the CDF for actually making an attempt to meddle into the affairs of the citizens. There's a reason why CDF should be apolitical. He cannot in one line say that KDF is apolitical, and then he goes further, number one, to lecture the citizens and tell them that you cannot say must go and you are the one who elected them the other day. That is none of his business. Totally none of his business. This is not Uganda where we have got a CDF lecturing the citizens. We are a democracy and the people are the sovereign. Kahariri, if he wants to do politics, he must remove the military cloth and come from a political party like the rest of us or go to the streets. But he cannot. Fairness, Maliba, you elected them and now you're starting to say must go. How we choose, what the people choose to do with their vote is none of his business. And he should not lecture the people that since you elected them, you cannot say must go. I am talking about,
for 5 years.
Actually, the constitution that he speaks about clearly gives we, the people, the right to recall our leaders. And by the way, saying Ruto must go is constitutional.
It is.
Just like, by the way, after he has actually come and invited himself into our affairs, I can boldly tell you that Kahariri must go for breaking Article 121 of the KDF Act. Okay. Now, quickly, I would tell Nordin Haji, during this holy Ramadan month, that he leads Kenya's most sacred agency. There's a reason why we have given him that agency that no one else should actually be looking into. There's a reason why he has got power beyond any other. His agency has got power beyond any other. The chief who leads a sacred agency, that is the holy grail of our national security. He should stop PR. He should stop being out. He does not lead a Gestapo. He does not lead some secret police that is supposed to be going out and doing propaganda. A good intelligence agency, and the one that we actually envisioned in the Constitution, is one that is felt, not seen or heard. That's
all sovereign powers belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be, and I like the word in shall, mandatory, be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. The people may, optional, may, optional. That is it, John. No, complete it, may exercise their sovereignty power either directly or through their democratically elected. So the wording, the conjunction may, I apply one.
So guys, you've listened to those reactions and you've listened to that statement by General Kahariri. Now we want to analyze this statement, and for the first time we want to try and understand why is the military now coming out to speak about local matters that are happening in Kenya. Because as it stands, military are not supposed to interfere with what happens in Kenya, especially in politics, because they are not supposed to be political, to take any sides of the or in politics, which I don't believe they have taken any sides. I believe, and from my own assessment, is that they feel like if this slogan continues and things becomes uncontrollable and it becomes like a movement, because such things can really trigger a movement, can trigger serious revolution in a country. Such statements, such slogans can trigger serious revolution in the country. And maybe from my own assessment, I feel like the military are feeling like if this thing continues and it becomes like a revolution and becomes something that cannot be contained, then the country might fall into anarchy. Because remember, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is right, whether we have a president or nini or nini. The country needs to be stable. The country doesn't need to fall into anarchy. Because most of you people, you need to take notes from countries that have fallen. That countries that have had systems that have failed and have fallen. It takes a lot of time to rebuild those countries. It takes a lot of time to restore that country to work the way it used to work. So I feel like these guys, they are not, this is my own assessment. I don't feel like the general was really coming out to call people that he was just, I think he was just warning and giving like a warning to Kenyans that, hey, as much as you are able, you are allowed to exercise your freedom of expression, but do it within the law. The reason why he insisted and he kept on insisting to do it within the law, it's because if people are not careful, they might take this thing to the heart, and they might even try now to do things outside the law, which can lead the country into anarchy. So I feel like he has been attacked left, right, and center, which Kenyans have freedom of expression, but from my own assessment, I don't think he wants to interfere with local politics. All is just saying like because as much as he's the head of the military, he's a Kenyan. This is a country that he loves. This is a country that has enjoyed peace. This is a country that the military has always been respected. They have never interfered with local politics. But he feels like if this chant continues, because there has never been a chant like this that is so persistent, that the Gen Zs are so adamant that whatever they are being told, they don't listen. And I want to tell you guys, as much as you can see the Gen Zs are making noise, it is not only the Gen Zs. We have millennials that are also saying that deep down in their heart. It's only that they can't come out and shout and nini. We have the Gen Z, wanataka Gen X. Unaelewa? Those people who are 50 and above going up, they also feel like this government has not worked for them, and they are also in support of all this. So what, in my own assessment and in my own opinion, I feel like the military is looking at it from that angle, that if this thing persists without people really having a proper way of addressing their concerns within the framework of the constitution, they might end up acting outside the constitution, and acting outside the constitution will land this country into anarchy, and we might end up having a failed system of government, and Kenya might just collapse. So we can take it simple, we can take it in any way we want to take it, but we need to also be cognizant that as much as we want Ruto to go because he has not delivered, we must always focus that it is done within the law. So they have no problem with whichever way you will remove, you want Ruto out, but if it is within the law, that is what they want. Do it within the law. Now let me come to our constitution. One thing you people never took note, whatever happened in June 25th was a test of that part of that Article 1 of our constitution. It was a test on that Article 1 of the constitution, which says that all sovereign power belongs to the people, and they can exercise it either directly or indirectly. Unaelewa? That day on 25th, when people went out to demonstrate, it was a test on that article of our constitution. Remember, we have a very young constitution that some very key articles in that constitution have never been tested, and that was the time that it was being tested. And even this slogan of Ruto must go. Remember, Raila tried to test this article in 2022 when he failed the election. He kept on saying that the sovereign power belongs to the people and they will exercise it directly, and that is what they were doing when he was calling for demonstration after, in 2022 after he lost the election to William Ruto. But that one did not come through very well. Even this Ruto must go slogan, who came up with this slogan? It is none other than Raila Odinga who coined this slogan of Ruto must go. So the Gen Zs just picked it up from Raila and they continue with it. So whatever happened in June 21st was a test of our constitution. It was a test that can Kenyans really come out and exercise that Article 1 of the Constitution. And I want to say, the people who designed and people who came up with this constitution were genius. These people were smart because they gave us a constitution that is very, very difficult to do away with. It's not an constitution that you can overrun. Whoever came up with that part of the constitution that all sovereign power belongs to the people and they can exercise it directly or indirectly in accordance with this constitution, that person was a genius. And then the constitution also says that every Kenyan has a right to protect this constitution. Every Kenyan, as long as you're a Kenyan, you have a right to protect this constitution. Do you know what that means? That means that it is not only the military has a right to protect this constitution, it is not only the president, it is not the executive, it is not the parliament, it is not only the police forces, and it is every Kenyan. Even me, I have a duty to protect this constitution. So the people who designed this constitution were very deliberate. They wanted to give us a constitution that no one will feel like he can use it for his own benefit or for his own gain. And he wanted to give us a constitution that no one can just come and twist things around and have his way. Yani, the constitution iko so clear. This constitution was designed in such a way that even if you want to change something in that constitution, there is a process of how to change it. You cannot just wake up in the morning and use parliament to change the constitution. There are some articles in that constitution that can't be changed by any other means besides a referendum. And some of those things are like, a good example is some like things like term limit. Yani, there are so many things. These like independent bodies, these independent commissioners, the judiciary is independent, the constitution was designed in such a way that it is very, very, very difficult for you to have your way vile unataka. Like you can just wake up and say, mimi nafanya vile nataka. Even calling for a state of emergency, it is there in the constitution. There is a process for you to even to involve the military. There is a process. And for the military to withdraw. So guys, I don't think that, in my own assessment, I feel like the reason why the military and the NIS had to come out in that way, like so that they can be heard wanaweza ongea, is because these people, the NIS gathers a lot of intelligence. They have people on the ground. So these people are now communicating what Kenyans feel. And maybe they feel like there is so much anger in the country that if people continue with this slogan, it might just trigger a revolution that it will be hard to control. So the highest element of security in this country, the highest organ, which is now the military, at least they feel like they need to come put in a word and at least bring some sobriety in the country in terms of, hey, you guys, you elected this government. If you want to remove this government, there's a process, there's a structure of removing this government. Please, as much as you are agitated, as much as you are expressing your freedom of expression and everything, please try as much as possible not to go outside the constitution, because going outside the constitution will create a lot of problems that it will be very hard to reverse. I think that was the communication. I think that is what they are communicating. And I urge you, and I support, as much as personally I'm not happy with how the president has been running the country, but can we do it within the law? The constitution allows us to do it within the law. There's a process to do it. This constitution, I tell you that it was very meticulous. Whoever designed it, the people who came up with the constitution, they came up with even ways of impeaching a president. There is a way of impeaching a president. There is a process of impeaching a president. The previous constitution never had anything like that. The president was above the law, the constitution. But in this constitution, no one is above the law. No one is above the constitution. Everyone is under this constitution. Be it the military, be it the president, be it any form of office or any form of authority. They are all below the constitution. So there is a process of removing the president. And this agitation, I feel like the agitation that has been going on, people are so much agitated, and people want this government to go and everything, which is okay. Can someone bring a motion? Because we need our parliament. But the problem is the parliament has been captured. The political, and that's why the politicians don't understand. That is where Kenyans are resorting to now exercising their Article 1 in the Constitution. You must understand why Kenyans are now this much agitated. It's because the places whereby the people they elected to speak for them are no longer speaking for them, are singing the tune of the executive, are singing the tune of the same person that they now don't like, they don't want. So Kenyans feel like they're helpless. And that's why they feel like if you people are not going to listen to us, and you are the same people that we elected and we put in those offices to represent us, then we are going to invoke Article 1 of the Constitution, whereby we are going to exercise that power directly. Because whatever you are enjoying is delegated power. We are going to exercise it directly, and the Constitution allows us to do so. So it is high time these people realize that if push comes to shove, Kenyans can just decide, let's just go with that. Let's just push ahead with whatever it is. So now, as I wrap it up, what do I feel should happen? There's so much things that are not working in the country. And I'll repeat again, the only person who needs to cool down the temperature and everything in the country is none other than the president. He is the one who can cool temperature, because he has tried everything and it's not working. He has called Raila, Kenyans are not budging. He has tried to change the cabinet, things are not budging. What is the problem? The answer lies with the president. Mimi, if I was in a position to advise the president, what I could have told the president is very simple. Lay low. Our president needs to lay low. The president, ever since he was elected, he has been moving around in a manner likely to suggest that the guy is still, our president is still campaigning. And that thing continues, inaendelea ku agitate Kenyans. They still feel bad. They still feel like this person should continue to, we are suffering, and it seems like our president bado ako kwa campaign mode. If the president could just cool down and say, for the next 6 months, I'm not going to appear in public places. I'm just going to focus. I'm going to be waking up in the morning. I go to the office. I wake up. I work until evening. I go home. Evo. For 6 months. Until he ninyote ikule. And he cool down. And then Kenyans start feeling his presence now, like he's really working. Because hii mambo ya kukaa juu ya gari most of the time, Kenyans feel like, what time are you working? Honestly, you are not working. You are not doing anything. And that's why they are continuing with this chant. So the president, if he was someone who at least listens, angetulia for 6 or 7 months, even the whole of this year, asionekane, akuwe kama Kibaki. Kibaki never used to appear in places randomly all the time. Kibaki used to be silent. So anafaa kuapply hiyo. And trust you me, akienda silent for 1 year, for the whole of this year, by 2026 utaona Kenyans watakuwa wametulia. Yani ya focus tu kufuatilia zile projects zote zenye zingefaa kufanywa. A focus on those in following up on all those projects and making sure that hizi projects zinakuja, so that he can stop giving people any more promises, because anytime he comes out and he goes to a new place, people wants to hear new things, so he will have to promise them. Even if he's promising them lies, he'll just want to, because lazima wafurahishe, and that's where the thing is. So this is a big thing, and we are here, we are waiting, we are watching. But from my own assessment, I don't think the military had a bad intention. As much as Kenyans are entitled to their opinion, I just felt like they just needed to remind Kenyans that you can continue to agitate, you can continue to express yourself, you can continue to do whatever you do, but kindly ensure that you do it within the law. That is what they were saying. And they were just reminding Kenyans that this slogan might just turn out to be something else. And if it is not controlled, people can decide to act outside the law, the constitution, and things might be chaotic for everyone. So I don't have much to say. That was just it for me. What do you think? What do you think about this whole thing? Just tell us, what do you think about this whole thing? Share there in the comment section. But above it all, remain respectful. Don't attack anybody. Don't even attack any system or anything. Just share your opinion. Because remember, as much as we are we are all Kenyans. Even the military are Kenyans. We live with them. We interact with them and everything. So just share your opinion, so that you never know. Maybe you can come up with a good suggestion that the government might feel this one can work for us. So give your suggestion in a respectful way, and we'll know how it goes. Anyway, guys, that was it for me. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, bye-bye.